I want to jump to a totally unrelated story because it's Friday and we haven't talked about this all week. Ooh. Alec Baldwin could go to prison. Criminal charges still possible in Rust shooting, sheriff says. And I just want to highlight that Alec Baldwin, my understanding is that he told the police he knows the difference between dummy rounds and live rounds, but that he did not check the gun himself. We then saw the footage that got released because everyone was wondering, like, hey, they filmed Alec Baldwin doing this. Where's the footage? And you can see that Alec Baldwin lied. He said, my finger was not on the trigger. And you can see in this footage they released his fingers on the trigger every time. That doesn't mean his finger is on the trigger the time he actually fired it, but come on. If I'm going to have to make a bet, his finger was on the trigger. Here's the best part about all this. When people point out that Alec Baldwin, Jack Posobiec said this, he's like, Alec Baldwin should not be talking to these cops without lawyers because he basically admitted to doing it. People are like, yeah, but he's an actor. This is what I hear from every single person on the left for some reason wanting to defend Alec Baldwin. He was on set doing what he was supposed to do. It's not his fault. Please, pull up the manslaughter provision, and I think, what was it, New Mexico? Show me where it says actors get a special exemption from involuntary manslaughter. It doesn't exist. If you are handed a gun and you point it at a person and you pull the hammer back of a single-action revolver and it fires, that's involuntary manslaughter. Textbook.
Yeah, also, what an unbelievably stupid excuse. Like, you know, so if someone's filming you and you point a gun at someone and pull the trigger, I guess you can't be prosecuted because you're an actor. I'm making a movie.
Could you imagine there's like a serial killer and he's got a camera guy with him the whole time? It's
Exactly.
like, we're just making a movie. We're just making a movie.
He's filming a prank show where they go around and stab people to death and go, it's a prank, bro.
So just for fun, I'm going to go against every instinct I have. And I'm going to argue the other side of this. So you're in a position where you're handed a gun, and that gun is supposed to be loaded with blanks for the scene because obviously it wouldn't be dummies, because it wouldn't be loaded with live rounds. There's no reasonable expectation that would be loaded with live rounds. And this is a scene that you've done. This is something you've done before. And so you do it this time, and this time, oh my gosh, there's a live round in it. And that's where it goes into the involuntary manslaughter point. It's like, okay, you've got, obviously we're not talking about, necessarily like premeditated murder or, anything like that. There's a part of me that can understand, like, okay, this is a part of my job. This is what I do. This is how it works. And I did it this way, and something tragic happened. I'm more concerned about, again, how did a live round get into that? And then why did she get, even with a dummy round? Because here's the other part that I think a lot of people don't understand about this is they think, oh, I'm firing a blank. Okay, well, there's differences between firing a blank. I mean, there have been Hollywood stars that have died because of a blank, because of the wadding.
Yeah, was it
Brandon Lee?
Brandon Lee.
There were
Yeah,
two people. Yeah, he was one of them.
And that other guy in the 80s who pointed the blank to his head and killed himself.
Yeah, and they don't understand how some of this works. Now, Alec Baldwin's been doing this for a while.
40 years?
And he should understand how it works. And that's the part where a little bit more culpability for me creeps into this.
I don't care who you are. If you are handed a gun and then you point it at somebody and kill them, you're in trouble.
No question.
So Alec Baldwin trying to use this actor excuse where it's like, well, someone else was handling the gun. I don't care. And people are like, I tweeted about this and they're like, here's someone who's never been on set before. And I'm like, dude, all you're telling me is that the people on set are idiots.
Yeah, they are. They were in that movie. Gutierrez Reed, Hannah, the arm, what was she?
Hannah Gutierrez Reed?
Yeah, she's basically not the arms master, but in charge of the weapons. She's not the one that handed the gun to Alec. And
I'm pretty sure she wasn't even on set.
There's video of her from the day. If you guys haven't seen this video, it's all over the place now. Yeah. There's all this video right after the shooting. And she's like, they tell Hannah that Alec fired the weapon. She's like, Alec Baldwin had the gun?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And, like, she had no idea what was going on. Someone, basically, in my estimation, there were a bunch of people that quit, walked off the set. They said it's unsafe. Someone loaded that gun knowing that Alec was going to pull it out, not check because he's a lazy whatever. And that's exactly what happened. I think someone put that in there so that he would do the killing.
Let me clarify something. I'm not saying that he's not criminally liable. What I'm saying is that when I first heard about this, I'm like, okay, an actor did something stupid with a gun, not a shock. Is there any sort of reasonable, from a legal perspective, is there any sort of reasonable argument to be made that, hey, I was supposed to get a gun to do this. I was supposed to point and pull the trigger and do this. I did that, and then something happened that I did not intend. Now, the other side of this is, going back to your point, someone hands you a gun. The way I grew up, what I was taught is you are now responsible for everything that gun does, and you don't get to say, well, this person handed it to me. That's the part where the culpability creeps back in.
Every time I've done a handoff for any weapon, the same thing occurs. The magazine is taken out, You clear it, make sure there's nothing in it. Then you lock the bolt back, the hammer or whatever, and then you hand it pointed down. You follow all the rules. And I don't even consider myself a gun expert. I just have guns. So I'm like, it's not even an issue of proper protocol. It's like, I'm going to check my firearms, and I'm going to make sure it's clearly visible that there's nothing in it. I'm handing it to you, and it will still be treated as if it's loaded, even with the magazine removed. Alec Baldwin, when they're on movie sets, and people are acting like it's normal to be handed a weapon that's sealed, potentially loaded, and you're going to be like, I trust them. The weapon from the people on set, I'm told, they're supposed to open it, show you the rounds, take them out, explain what they are, put them back, close it, and then hand it to you with all safety protocols happening before your eyes.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin was supposed to go through that check, then have the weapon, and that's why he would not open the weapon up and check. Alec Baldwin claimed, he's like, if I were to open it up and mess with it, they would stop the shoot because that would be tampering with a weapon, and I'm not allowed to do it. Only the armorer is. Yes, but the armorer is supposed to go up to you, show you the mechanism, show you the safety, take it, open it up, let you know, they'll take out the magazine, clear it and say everything's here, it's unloaded, I've showed it to you, now you're responsible for it. They didn't do that. So Alec Baldwin received a weapon, did not check, he's responsible.
Oh, no, he's checked. And I would also argue that the person that was responsible for doing that. So, for instance, if someone handed him a weapon and said, here's your weapon for the set, and he did it, he's still responsible because they didn't follow the protocol. They're also responsible because they didn't follow the protocol.
I don't know. So this assistant director, I guess, is the guy who handed him the gun. Uh-huh. But they're on set. He's got a gun. He says it's for Alec. It's not his job to check it.
That's true.
So I don't actually know if that guy would have any responsibility. The responsibility is if Alec Baldwin knows he's receiving a weapon, that guy isn't the one who pointed it and pulled the trigger.
No. I'm not arguing with that.
Yeah.
No, that's yeah.
So Alec Baldwin, involuntary manslaughter, prison.
He's also the producer of the movie. So there's another layer
That adds a
of
huge-
culpability.
Yeah,
He should
it
have been
is.
overseeing the safety mechanisms. The armor should have been there if they're handling live
When
rounds.
when I was
non-live rounds.
when I was in the military, we would go to the range, we'd do our thing, and then we'd also go to like what we call shoot houses. And within our shoot houses, we're practicing close quarters battle. So you're doing high intensity explosives, hostage rescue, the whole deal. You'd do live rounds at some point. You'd also do what we called sim rounds. So sim rounds had a different barrel for your M4 and your M9, and they fired paint rounds. You would shoot each other with the paint rounds. Now, again, you weren't shooting a live round through those sim barrels, but we went through so many checks and processes when you were transitioning from I'm doing sim rounds to live rounds, right? You did so many processes to do that, and if you screwed up, it was on you. Because at the end of the day, you're still responsible for what's going on at that range. I mean, you can point to a range safety officer, and they might get in trouble as well. But ultimately, you're still responsible for what happens with the firearm in your hands,
Yeah, that's the way it's got to be moving forward.
unless you're an actor.
Well, yeah.
No, you're still responsible as an actor.
No, I know
He killed that woman, man.
Hey, Vladimir
She's dead.
Putin's filming a movie.
In Ukraine?
Yeah.
Is that why he's there right now?
Yeah, he was just filming a movie.
Filming a movie.
With Russian troops?
Right, the troops just it's set crew, man.
It's all for the entertainment.
All set crew. They're just there to film a war flick, and all of the civilians and all the destruction. Well, I mean,
I feel
you
like
can't blame Putin. It's a movie.
With Alec, it's not even that I hate the guy. I just feel like justice has to be served. It'd be the same if it was my brother that did it.
What?
Yeah.
What's that?
Is
Has
it
to be
Alec
an
Baldwin's your
investigation.
brother?
If it had been my brother in his position and he killed somebody, I'd same thing. He's got to serve justice. Like that, you can't just let people get away with that, or they're going to do it again and again. You got to stop it in its tracks.
Yeah, everyone's been predicting that he's going to pay some settlement to the family, and nothing's going to happen. Probably.
Wow.
Why should he get in trouble?
Because he killed somebody.
Well, I know that, but I mean, like in their mind, they're thinking like, well, I love the conspiracy theories, though, that the woman was like an investigative reporter, and whenever something weird happens, you get the conspiracy theorists who tie it all into like this grand Hollywood
Be
conspiracy.
careful that it's not like an Alex Jones, what do they call it, Sandy Hook thing, where someone's like, she's a this and that, and then the family comes after you with a civil suit. Yeah, don't talk crap about people when they're dead.
You shouldn't talk crap about private citizens with things that aren't true.
Yeah,
You shouldn't say
especially
things
when
that
there's
aren't true.
emotions involved, like death.
The truth shall set you free. Alex Jones's issue is that he said things that weren't true about private individuals.
That had been killed. That was a big part of it.
No, it was the families he was talking about. He was making fun of the people who are still alive.
Oh, yeah, they were
not
doing
making fun
that.
of. He was making statements about them. So I just say, in these circumstances,
He
you always
also
want to just have the truth. You always want to have your facts.
he also shot a dude in the shoulder. He killed a girl and then wounded another guy.
Oh,
That's
yeah, right.
the director.
You watch the video, it's crazy. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
Someone set him up. That is nasty.
I don't know if I agree.
All those people that hated him on that set, and then all of a sudden there's a live bullet shows up in the gun he's using. Like,
And maybe he put it there.
maybe, but I didn't seem realistic.
I just think that you have to make assumptions to assume it wasn't him.
Yeah, I do. You're right.
It's
There's no way to know.
It's the simpler solution, albeit sounds crazy, that Alec put the bullet in there.
Well,
Alec
way, it's an assumption.
Alec
you
was
can't really
holding
assume
a
it.
gun, and the gun went off and killed someone. That's the only thing we need to know.
Dude,
Where the bullet came from, as far as I'm concerned, Alec Baldwin is responsible
When
for
you
it.
see his finger on the trigger, when he's pulling the gun in practice in rehearsal, he's got his finger on the trigger, and then he's like, my finger wasn't on the trigger. Like, dude, his finger's
He's
on
lying.
the trigger.
And the crazy thing, too, is one of the reasons I actually think what we're seeing now lends to the idea that Alec is guilty of just outright homicide is that the way he was holding it, he could have shot himself. No, I think he knew what was in that gun. It was in his chest holster.
You pointed out you can't assume. You shouldn't assume.
Well, the thing always was there's three things that detective looks for on this. It's right method, motive, and opportunity. So we obviously know the
And all of
method.
them.
We know the opportunity. I don't know what the motive is.
The motive was that the crew was yelling at him and fighting with him, and it was stated. This is Viva Frei did a really good job breaking this down. That Hutchins was aggravating, was very aggressive with Alec. That she wasn't supposed to be directing him. She was a cinematographer. Alec had already explained that he was frustrated. We know he's temperamental. We know that the staff on the set have been complaining and threatening to walk off. He's been dealing with it the whole time. Now he gets this woman who's bossing him around. He's pissed off. He had a motive.
There's another guy on the set they interviewed, and he's like, I don't want to throw anyone under the bus, but let's just say the practices on that set were not safe. And it's like he's basically what he's saying is they're shooting live rounds for fun on set, but he didn't come out and say that, and he didn't name names. But it's like he was a guy working on the movie, basically saying they weren't following safety protocol.
Thanks for checking out this segment from the Timcast IRL podcast. If you want to watch live, you can check out this channel Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. And don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe to this channel, and if you want more unfiltered and uncensored content with all of these guests, go to timcast.com and become a member. All of these guests you know and love in exclusive segments on our website where we are unrestricted in what we talk about, so you'll definitely not want to miss it. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you all next time.